The life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Welcome everybody to the stream. Camera there. Will be Minion Miners versus the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. I just wanted to get the setup going and get everybody kind of informed here for a little bit, but we will probably go to a quick break for a little bit. We are waiting for a Dankstrom to come in. He is a little bit behind. Pop in just to check to see. Wanted to make everybody sure of what's going on here and all that jazz. We will have a match tonight. We're not going to have the double forfeits that I had yesterday. So yeah. So I'm probably just going to put us back into the pre-live streams while we wait. I'll get back in and we can discuss the game a bit further. I can pop up the overview, though, of where we're going. That was not the... So Minion Miners lost the coin toss. Trump took first pick. Minion Miners took us to Alterac, while also banning BOE and Tomb of the Spider Queen, as well as Trump took out the Dragonshire and Volsky. That's where we are at this moment. See where we go from there. So we actually have Dankstrom has arrived. That should set us up nicely. Sorry, I'm having a long conversation here with the people in the draft. We're still waiting for the last member of Trump to arrive. I'm gonna put us to will be rack back screen. Okay, guys, go ahead and keep the chat up going in chat. Be right back. So I interrupt this short commercial break to show off this 2.5-month-old kitten. Look how big he is. He's a monster. His name is Gone. He's black and white. He's a sweetheart. And he's giant. Look at that chub. Look at that chub. That face. Figured I'd show him off. He's gonna run away now. He doesn't like being on. Although he's not fully running away. Nope. He's right there. I'm gonna lay down right on my mouse pad. And attack my mouse cord. So, still waiting to see if we're ready to go here. Oh, Synchrony is here, so we are ready. So it looks like I'm going to pop up the overview again so we can see where we're going, which is Alterac Pass. Bands there are visible on the screen. Going seems determined to knock my screen over. He's looking for the mouse. Yes, of course you are. Cat. Typical cat behavior. That mouse. So how big was that freaking kitten? 2.5 months old. He's almost as big as a couple of my full-grown cats. Monster. Oh, looks like we're getting into the game. Draft screen up and everything. Alright, first off, I need to mute you. I need to switch this so I can see the chat. Ah! I don't have the screen title correct. I'm so bad. Let me switch that. There we go. That should be better. My bad. Back to the draft. So, interesting removals. Ragnaros and Lily, I think these are very much target bans. We can show both teams are definitely coming to play with scouting. Let's take a look at the Falstad numbers there in Division B East. I think he's actually got a really good good score right there, and we can actually see it: 56% win rate, 23% popularity. That's actually a decent, a really good score so far. And on the other side, we can see Abathur Lucio. This is a good Abathur map if you know how to play it appropriately. Lucio. But this thing's just firing through. Anduin to Hawk right on the other side. So we got two globals We're looking for the double global with the Falstad Dahaka play against the Abathur comp, which is going to be hyper aggressive. So they're gonna it's gonna be on Trump to not kind of get run over in the early game, which is very much a possibility. Ana is just going to be banned right out, which probably means we can expect some auto attackers, but they banned out 2 of them. So I'm thinking perhaps Illidan, and that's actually what's going to get banned right there. This is a good Abba Illidan map for sure. I think it's actually run less than it probably should be. But maybe that was where they were going all along. Where Mac and Cheese comes in. With the Cassia. That's going to be followed by Murder. Murder, a common pickup for Abathur composition. There's your Cassia stats. Really good, actually. Fantastic. I think she's one of the sneaky good heroes that isn't taken nearly as frequently as it probably should be. And Junkrat. Junkrat on this map is definitely fantastic. I am known to use it as well myself on this map. It's, again, it feeds to that macro style. And that is 100% what we see here. This is a full-on global macro style, nothing else about it. That's a Chen pickup that we're going to get from Marshall. And Chen Abathur is a scary combination these days. So 3 viable targets for Abathur hats and clones. And a very hyper-aggressive playstyle versus a very macro-heavy playstyle. Of course, Abathur covers a good portion of that macro pretty well. But yeah, that's going to be it. And as we get into the game here, of course, the overlay is never correct the first time. And now it's good. Okay, we'll be getting right into the game here. I am excited. Are you excited in chat? Let's get ready to rumble. Rumble Town. Let's get ready to Rumble Town. Sorry. Apparently, that's a patented thing. Yeah, it's basically global macro versus Abathur aggression, and that's going to be a interesting setup. Because Abathur aggro doesn't come online until 10, which is where, as the macro group, you want to be trying to get ahead. So we'll see how this goes. It's an interesting. But anyways, on the blue side, we have Minion Miners, Westcart on the Lucio, Sir Mac and Cheese playing Cassia, Murderin on the Muradin, and Irdak playing Abathur, Marshall, the Captain, playing Chen. And on the red side, we have Trump, the real ultimate mosh pit, Ruffle the Dog on the Junkrat, Synchrony playing Falstad, Dankstrom on the ETC, Idioms playing the Dahaka, and the AFK Healer on Anduin. So I don't expect a whole lot to happen in the opening day, but these camps, which they are going to be slow on getting on the side of Trump, can be invaded by this composition pretty effectively, especially if they catch them without extra members. Though the globals can help defend on that as well as aggress, so we can see either way. Pop up the level 1 talents so everyone can take a look. And I need to get rid of that. I apologize, guys, about that. I like to play with those things on since they added them. Odd as that may be. And in the bottom lane is going to get rotated on. The root does land, but he's right near his towers. Not anywhere you can really get a good aggression on. And it's a Chen. He should be able to survive through it. We're going to see the first initial camp here picked up. Probably about 17 seconds too late. On the other side, we're not even going to see any focus on it from the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Small criticism there is I do think that cycling those camps out early and often is a winning strategy. They may feel a little bit nervous about taking it on, but with double global, you should be able to support anyone that's down there doing it for the most part. But ETC in the mid lane, your two globals in the off lanes, and they can just fly in if it gets too crazy. And Anduin Junkrat, Anduin is pretty good at camping actually for a healer. So it's a 3-man push. They do get a bot wall and a tower, which is actually good. Root on top of that, this could actually be a problem for Marshall. He's going to drop his stagger to stay alive, and he can't run back in here. So he's got to hug the tower, and hopefully the mine has to go away. So good placement on the mine, just making sure. But here we go. This is kind of what I was talking about, and this is not the easiest camp to clear out. And what makes them so strong, aside from the fact that they're kind of beefy, is the fact that they do -22 structures. They will stop this from taking a tower. No, I don't think they will, actually. It kind of depends where these guys shoot. So I guess they do. No one was really pushing up on it, which is fine. But again, the point of cycling this out early and often is that it's up and available again during the objectives, which is why I was criticizing it being a little bit slow. Yeah, I'm aware, Caledorn. I did switch the title, but of course it doesn't change it immediately. The only way I could get it to like fully come back is to stop the stream and restart the stream, so I can't do that. A little bit of an oversight for me. I apologize. Chen is looking to pressure Synchrony here, and with an Abathur hat, Chen should be able to pressure anyone out of lane. But the real story is Muradin wrecking idioms in the top lane. He's going to get tagged by the Cassia Hughes. So here's the thing about this map. I like to talk about... you don't need to go to the attack speed. It's fine. It's a nice boon, and they do have good auto attackers for it to synergize with, but you don't have to go it. It's still an alright. It's still alright to go for the Needle Spine. So here's a lot of the theory about this map that I've thought of myself and that I've talked to a few people about. And it really kind of centers around these objectives. Versus any other map in the game. There is almost no other map in the game that does this. It forces you to secure an objective to go to the enemy side of the map. Now, again, obviously you do see this happen on things like Cursed Hollow and Garden of Terror as well, but they have randomization elements. Same thing with Battlefield of Eternity. They have randomization elements that allow them to be able to pick and choose which objectives that they need to get. And again, when this is channeled, it immediately goes into objective, and that's also a distinct difference between it and those other maps. So look at this, like this constant securing of this camp has already taken this front wall and tower alone. They haven't even sieged into it, and this is, oh, the tower didn't go down. Good defense. They do finally cycle this out, and this is the patience that I want to see from both teams. Both the Abathur comp and the global comp. They don't need to commit to an objective. Early objectives are nice, and if you can get them, great. But the thing is you have to be able to win the team fights on the opposing side of the map safely. And against good teams that are good at kind of mitigating that and playing it patient and finding good flank positions, you're going to have a hard time doing that. And it's always a risk, no matter how you look at it, to walk onto the opponent's side of the map and secure the objective. Now, this is a good siege. This is what I like to see. This is what Trump has managed to do with their camp. When it's properly pushed with, it does so much work. And I think that Minion miners could be accused of misplaying the Abathur comp a little bit early and not allowing Abathur to just kind of handle the soak in 1 to 2 lanes and really focus that push. They could have brought 4 members in. He body soaks one area, uses the hat soak on another, and they 4-man push in with that camp. But they're going to cycle it out again here. And they do manage to pick off Murden in the top lane. So Trump playing this fantastically. And with that kill, so this is how this map is supposed to be played. You macro until you can find an advantage. You'll get a kill like that, you immediately go for the objective. That's exactly how you want to play this. Hands are up, so I'll bring up talents. Well, there's a good gust to keep that aggression from coming through, but the channel is through. He might be able to find the pick here on Dahaka. Nice burrow to avoid. Great protect. There's not any stall out. And a 4-man mosh pit. Trump is really wrecking the 3-man mosh pit. Not a 4-man. That's going to be Lucio and Cassia going down. Trump really showing how this map is played. Minion Miners, by the way, picked this, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a thing. And look at this camp. This camp took the mid fort by itself. Holy shit. Okay. Abathur also getting picked off in the bottom lane by Dahaka. So, things not looking so hot for Minion Miners here. They're really losing a lot with kills in the early game here. Anyways, what I was saying was that while Minion Miners took this, as soon as they took it, Trump was like, oh, heck yes. That was their response to this map being picked. And I think we're seeing exactly what it is that Trump was talking about. I mean, the chase wasn't necessarily wrong. They almost did kill the Dahaka. But they did clump really bad and set themselves up for it, and only got into that situation because they failed to get the kill on Dahaka earlier, and they totally had the opportunity to do it. Minion Miners are far behind on this map. Huge. That's first objective, guys. They got 3 forts off of it. Trump showing their strength on this map, but only the forts are gone. That's a good place to be by all means, but it's still this map is one of those maps where comebacks are totally real. And it doesn't snowball as hard depending on how your next matches go, because you can macro to talent parity. Yeah, I mean, the reason the chase happened was because they failed to snake the kill on Dahaka here and here, rather than in here. If they were here and here, they would have been fine. When they walked into here, it was definitely trouble time. Engagement from Minion Miners, trying to put the pressure in. Urdak with the clone goes way in. And now the engagement's going to come out from Dahaka. The rest of the team is lagging behind. And mid camp was cleared out. And we're probably going to see a boss play here. It's risky. They definitely can get down here in time if Chen makes the rotation. But again, it's one of those things that's a bit of a high risk. Gust, though that is a good point. Gust actually makes this play not good at all. And that's a kill on Cassia. Trump still significantly ahead on this map. They really have control over it. I like the Gust play. Ball stat on this map is really good. I like it. I've been seeing it more frequently, and I think it's definitely has me sold here. I do think that the Abathur comp hasn't really been been playing to its best ability, but it's hard. It's hard when you've got a double global. Because you're never safe in those off lanes, especially without forts. So that early game, we are seeing a bit of a snowball. Urdak with the Chen clone, trying to do his best to press up. These bosses by themselves aren't going to get a lot done. Mountain Giant does go down. But the stall is here. Unfortunately, 16 is not. Moshpit comes out. Lands on 2, but gets pumped away. But Idiom's finding that kill in the appropriate spot. Murden trying to do something to stall out the Anduin ult, which was very well waited out. So Mosh didn't get any value, but the rest of the ults did, and that was a 16. It was a 15 into 16 fight. I mean, it's true. I know that Murdering is not the main tank for the squad. Are you indisposed there, bud? Imabo? Like, are you out of town or something? So Trump's going to be able to pick up the objective and get bot keep. Things are looking dire for Minion miners here. This double global comp working really well. He better blast that because it's not going to get any value otherwise. Got a little bit of damage done to Murderin. The engagement is coming through. They get a stun. Murderin trying to get back there. Looks like we're going to get a clone from Urdak too as well. As they want the extra interrupts. They're trying to do their best to fight inside this ring. Chen kills himself, unfortunately, with the stagger. And they just really avoided being focused well. And that, with Abathur comps in particular, like, if you can't get the focus, you're often going to fall behind in fights. And as predicted, it looks like this is probably going to be game. I wasn't anticipating that to be the case. I was hoping that the last fight of the game there for Minion Miners might actually turn out pretty well. So Trump taking game number 1. Significantly so. And oh, Alterac Pass was just the place to go. Here's our end of game stats. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the chase over Dahaka into the 3-man death was the big turning point in the game. They could have eaten that first objective had they had everyone up, but the fact that they didn't really cost them. And that got snowballed against them. They lost 3 forts and couldn't really find a foothold back into the game because they're so far behind in experience. Pop up the talents for everybody. I don't need the class. Yet. Alrighty, folks. Let's put us to a break while we set up game number 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 between Minion Miners and the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Trump making a really good show of themselves in game number 1. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of playback here from Minion Miners in game number 2. And we'll see where we're going here in just a second. It will be Cursed Hollow. This will be Trump's map pick. Minion opted for first pick. So there we are. And of course, before we get the game started, Katie number 2. Same litter. And she's not even nearly as big as Gome. But she's very sweet. I know you guys are totally here for the cat. Give the R signals. And
Cursed Hollow.
yes, I blew that smoke to the side as best I could. I realized I was looking at her and giving her pets. While exhaling, and was like, oh, I better move that the other direction. So I did not get her in the face. Two Lily bands from the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Anduin removed this time. Didn't like the deal of that holy word salvation. Seems to be causing some problems. Ilya Ragnaros still continuing to do major banouts. Murderin is going to go back. Is going to go onto the fall stat. So not feeling confident on the tanks after game number 1. Gonna give it up to somebody else to handle, or we're going to get some hero swaps at the end. I'll keep an eye out. We're going to get to Haka again though. Synchrony is going to pick up the Sylvanas. That is going to open up Urdak for the ETC. And Sir Mac and Cheese on the Lunara. Greymane banned out a second time. Apparently not wanting to allow that to go over to Raffle the dog. Must be good at playing the doggo heroes. Nubrak. Uther. We don't want sanctified livestock. Divine cow coming through here. And our Divine Storm into Mosh Pit. Both of those could be pretty nasty. See, Lucio picked up again. It's going to be Johanna this time, as they don't have access to ETC. Yuka. Curious about the Stukov stats. Pretty good. Well, in B West, Artanis gonna round out the. Artanis still available, but yeah, I don't feel like he got the value out of that hero he was looking for. We're gonna see Junkrat again. This isn't really a Junkrat map. We're gonna see Tychus instead. I like the Tychus. Tychus is really good into ETC. Pretty good for extra siege. So like Monkus was saying in chat, the Tychus can pop into Odin, and that's really good siege. So of course I say that, and now they're probably gonna go drill just to spite me. I've heard some theories when it comes to drill. Like, the idea behind people taking it a lot of the time is they don't like the fact that Odin changes up everything about Tychus. However, drill's just so bad. Like, I have a hard time with it, as it's still, I feel like, just a bad talent. It's so easy to burn a drill. You have to really place it super smart to get value in a moment where no one can take any time to put any damage on it. Because if they do, and if they got good AoE, it just doesn't stand up. Like a Kael'thas wrecks it, Sylvanas wrecks it. There's so many things about that talent that cause issues. If you're really good about making sure that you're popping Odins at the appropriate times in the fights, then it's not so bad. Like, after you've pressured the tank out, you can use it to then pressure the rest of the DPS. It's also good for keeping him alive if he feels like he's getting a lot of pressure. Let the battle begin. But regardless, let's talk about the introductions, as I'm slow on. Minion Miners, Sir Mac and Cheese on Lunara, Urdak on the ETC, Murderin on the Falstad, Marshall on the Artanis, and Wesker on the Lucio. And on the other side, we have Trump, Denkstrom on the Johanna, Rolf the dog on on Tychus. The AFK healer Stukov. Idiom's playing Dehaka in Synchrony on the Sylvanas. Early game talents. Any outliers out there? I think this is common enough to say it's not really an outlier. And Synchrony finding the kill there. You want, or for Might of the Banshee Queen, I think personally believe is the best level 1 talent. ETC going for that stun. Good dodge by Synchrony. Showing good mastery of the hero. You're gonna see Bribe, Stad. Party mix. Everything else is pretty standard though. Hold your ground instead of. And enhanced agility. I see this so often these days. Like I see it way more than I see regeneration tissue regeneration. So. We're going to see Bruiser starting to be focused here. I do think that this might be an early. Light experience lead because of the kill, though, on the side of Trump. I mean, I think it's pretty easy to figure out what that kill was, not respecting Sylvanas damage. I mean, flat out, she can do fantastic damage. And full-on Q build is nasty. Even the levels, I think people underestimate how well it's not a good player can manipulate the level 7 Q talent. Now, I know that Rexpo was talking about how he feels like she doesn't do damage if you take that talent, but it really depends, especially if you're on Chase in particular. And once you have Remorselessness too as well, that extra bit of range from the auto attacks plus the Q, anyone trying to run from you is going to take that full damage, and it sucks to take the full Q damage. Good engagement on AFK healer, but unfortunately this three-man squad doesn't have the upfront damage you need to get those kills. We're going to Nature's Culling, which is good for dealing with the camps here. Falstad's going to make sure that this gets stalled out. He's also going to make sure he's not losing any soak in the off lane. We are getting a bit of an experience advantage here. Artanis a bit slow on the rotation, and Falstad is not the one matching the global, which is a bit unfortunate. But with that said, Dehaka's global is easier to land, so good swap. AFK healer does get stunned out the knockback, but they backed off. The kill's still going to come through, though. Wesker confirming it. They're going to give up this tribute for it. With the flying from Falstad, which was almost unnecessary, and unfortunately it's going to be ETC died. I didn't even see where he died. So 1-for-1 trade, lost tribute, and full wave in the top lane. I'm not sure that was the trade Minion Miners was really looking for, and I think the fly-in from Falstad was unnecessary. Camp's back up again, so we're going to see somebody rotate into getting that. Sylvanas already working on this one, which is great. Great siege, great anti-siege. We aren't seeing any of the lane push. And Tychus is actually out of position. The silence coming in to try to keep him alive, but I think they're spent, and this could be problematic now. The fly from Falstad coming in here. They do find Dehaka caught out. Can they stop him from getting in, though? The swap comes through. Marshall does secure that, and that's going to be the second kill. Minion Miners finding the kills they need in this game. and starting to kind of get this back up. We're going to see this camp actually start pushing here. And it looks like Trump might feel it necessary to give up this. They're not even attempting to delay. So mid lane's going to get dropped as, you know, Lunara siege damage is fantastic. Siphoning Toxin had been something that I've been playing a lot, as it was advised to me by Enigmatic. But if you've got good, you can trust your your healers and you position well, especially with the movement period increase. Honestly, Nature's Culling still, I think, remains to be the strongest talent on that. I had to take some convincing. I had to argue a bunch with my teammates about it, but in the end, I think that they were correct. And the Siphoning Toxin, while really good for long sustained fights, you can definitely stay alive, especially when you're hitting lots of people with 2 to 3 stacks. I also like Siphoning Toxin if you're going into Thornwind Vine, because you can constantly land those stacks and keep them up. The fly comes in nice and early. They're just making sure, instead of going for the macro play, they're just making sure that you got quick response times to anywhere on the map where they can get a bit of an advantage. But there was no really big engagement, which is unfortunate. And that's the thing with a lot of these flies. They've been coming into positions where you're still not getting a ton of value out of it. Good power slide onto Synchrony is going to knock him back. We're going to see the dig come in from Dahaka. So he's not split either. And now it's looking like it's Minion Miners with a good advance. We don't have a Gust play here at all on Minion Miners. Instead, we're going to see Hinterland's Blast, but it does put a lot of pressure onto it, but that is going to be the kill onto our Tannis. They do get a good 2-second mosh pit, though, that, you know, 1.5, 2-second mosh pit that might be enough to secure kills. We see Lucio running it down. He does get the kill. Idioms is too low. He's going to die. Synchrony's trying to step up to get the kill onto Falstad, but it's not going to happen here. And that's a 2-for-1 trade for Minion Miners, so they are actually ahead here with 2 tributes. So Hinterland's Blast versus Gust. I think it's always a question of, do you have enough burst damage to secure damage and area kills? And if you don't, then it's probably the right call. And in this composition, especially with Splintered Spear instead of Choking Pollen, if you're running a Falstad as your finisher, you probably do want the Boomerang and you want the Hinterland's Blast. I hate to say it though, because at the same time, boss control is so good on this map. And having Gust to be able to delay anyone from getting either stealing a boss from you and or being able to allow you to steal enemy team's bosses is a very big macro play that cannot be underestimated. But again, they took a Lunara, and without Choking Pollen, which is a talent I do flex on at 7. Splintered Spear, Choking Pollen is a good argument. One way or another, you can see. And here's the invade coming through, and we don't have Gust available. They do get the stun onto Lunara. This boss is still not leashed. And we still have 2 members of Minion Miners that are delayed, so all that time they just wasted on that boss, completely pointless, but they do get the kill onto the Dahaka, and despite getting the kill before the Hinterland's Blast goes off, it still landed onto 2 heroes in the backline, or might have just been the AFK healer. That is just unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that Gust isn't a better pick, and that was a good kill on the Mosh Pit, on the ETC. Falstad in the opposite lane, though, trying to get good siege damage on the lanes. Dahaka's going to come out, though, and try to stop this push from happening, which he's doing a pretty good job of. However, that camp in the mid lane did get a lot of value during that whole exchange. It almost took down this fort. And we're going to have to see Minion Miners with a dead cow try to get some good siege damage here during this curse. And honestly, Trump's been doing a fantastic job of preventing all of the damage from hitting them hard here. And haven't even dropped this tower yet because Falstad with no mana is feeling way too vulnerable into this Dahaka. And without ETC, we're going to see the 4-man rotation, but Lunara is getting good value out of Splintered Spear, which is generally going to happen, and it's a good pick. I just feel like when you're going for burst damage in a composition like this, if it were me, my choice would be stick with the Gust. and take Choking Pollen. The Splintered Spear in the end isn't going to do as much for you as the burst damage you can get off of Choking Pollen with the Leaping Strike. All you need is a target to stay stationary for a long enough time, and when you have an ETC, you have that ability to stun out a target long enough to get those kills. So we're going to try this again. And here's the thing. The Haka can respond to this faster than Falstad can. And that's a really good Blessed Shield. But Synchron is going to get stuffed here. He might die. The Hinterlands Blast comes through. Lunara gets the kill. And things have turned around. Hinterlands Blast comes out from range, gets a lot of value. Are they going to stall this out again? And it looks like they can't let this leash. They can't let it leash. Oh no, they're going to. They let it leash again instead, going for the fight. But Trump is in a bad spot. I would agree that maybe this is the right play because you can get the kills. And that's going to be a one-man mosh pit. But it's long enough to hold Rolf the Dog in place, which is going to get the kill. And here we go. This is going to be a 5-man team wipe, I think. But this is a really long fight. Holy shit. In fact, it's so long that targets are already back up. Like Sylvanas. Now you guys can go for the boss. I mean, yeah, I agree. But again, they went Splintered Spear Lunara. So Hinterlands Blast is their only real true form of burst. So in their current iteration, it's what you need to get those to kind of add that damage up. But I don't disagree. I do think the Gust is what you want here. So 16 to 15, they're going to get an easy curse because nobody's really going to bother coming up here for that. And knowing that, Minion Miners is going to go right for the boss. And they do have really good boss burn. There's no doubt about that. The Hawk is going to pop in and check and see this, but no one's in position to stop it from happening. They probably anticipated this was going to be the play anyways. Tribute's picked up, so they're going to push down top lane. I think. They should. Okay, they're going to let Falstad and the boss push while they steal this camp, which I think is a good play. You're removing things off the camp. You're making sure that you're mitigating any lane push in other lanes. This is going to, be a good distraction. But I would still like to see them rotate up here and push this boss down. Falstad can go in the mid lane, no doubt about it. And if he has Bribe up, he can even go get that other camp quickly and still be in a position where he can fly in. But instead, we're going to find Idiom's way too far ahead of the curve, and he's going to come down and die there. And that actually makes the threat of this boss significant. Oh, the swap on his Synchrony is not a good thing, and he did not even pop his Will of the Forsaken to stay alive, and that's going to be a kill. Things not looking good. This could very well be the end of the game. Despite how low this boss is, death timers are long enough. They could go for it, but they're feeling like it's still not a sure enough thing, so they're just going to back out. I don't know. They were stepping up in enough of a spot that they could definitely have put the rest of their ultimates to use there and snagged another couple kills and probably went for the game. Going to be a second tribute there. Now they're just going to back off, grab camps, apply pressure back into lanes. Put Falstad to the bottom lane. And Trump in a spot. They need to figure out what the plan is here. Can they find an aggressive play that's going to get them back into the game? They have no chance to lane push anywhere on the map. Yeah, he's been eating in way too much with this build in particular. Like, this build requires you to use E as an escape. or a reposition tool when you're chasing or in an advantage part of the fight. Like if you just need to, if you need to secure kills to guarantee the fight goes in your favor. So this is a 19-17 fight, and if I was Minion Miners, I wouldn't even take this fight. Yes, this tribute's on their side of the map, but you're almost 20. There's no reason not to just back out of here. And that does look like the case. They're seeing if they can delay, but it looks like they're, you know, the thing is that you want to delay with experience. You need to get that race to 20. So they should just be soaking. Yes, that does mean curse is available for whichever team is able to secure the next team fight. But given the fact that 20 should be in line for Minion Miners, it should be pretty clear on who's going to have that advantage. Idioms here might have been picked out, and realizing that's the case, he digs out.
Red team's core is under attack.
And now comes the level 20 Intensifying Toxin, which is going to do a ton of damage. In fact, I'll pop out the rest of the 20s there for you. Plasma Burn, interesting. With Force of Will, this makes him really tough to kill. And spell damage does next to nothing to Artanis with he didn't take the... I didn't take the spell shield. Call of the Wirehammer is going to increase the range and deals more damage. Bolt of the Storm instead of any others, as ETC has not been dying in this match. Oh, okay, he died twice. I bet. And that's going to be a forfeited curse because they don't have 20s. Unfortunate. With this quick camp, they're going to be able to push this up. If they take both keeps, then it's boss play. That's probably the end of the game if they don't end it here on the curse. Which, right now, Trump has a choice. Fight pre-20 and lose the game, or lose all of their keeps and maybe find a level 20 fight. But they're actually committing as they're concerned about the core going down. Lots of pressure coming out onto Artanis. This might be enough to kill him, but the sound barrier comes out to keep him alive. The silence too slow to stall it. And right now, all that Minion Miners seems to be doing is stalling things out. Big mosh pit, but the 20s were achieved, but it's too late. Like, the fight goes in, but they didn't go after the Lunara. And Lunara is just going to easy take the rest of this. There's pretty much no way to stop it from happening. That's going to be game number 2. Minion Miners taking us to game 3, and I don't think we expected anything different here. Well, those are your end of game statistics. Despite people being upset about the Gust versus Hinterlands and lots of arguments you can make in that area, in the end it comes down to comfort. And did the Hinterlands Blast help win team fights? And I think you have to say yes. In the end, it did do the job that it was designed to do, and it did end up helping to win team fights. Sylvanas did find herself into some questionable positions and didn't really use Will of the Forsaken in that one spot where she got swapped over the wall. If you're not going to use this to Unstoppable, then it's not going to be a decent. I mean, it's a 3-second unstoppable plus movement speed. Got to be able to anticipate those types of swaps coming. But we've got one more match to settle the score, so looking for the comeback here after losing game 2 will be Trump. And of course, Minion Miners hoping to close out and start to pull ahead in the standings. Alrighty, so I'll pop us to a break while we set up the next game. Welcome back, folks. We're getting ready for game number 3 between Minion Miners and the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and I really believe that this was and no doubt about. Yeah, I agree, Monkus. I think the heal on Sylvanas is really strong. As long as you're not gonna get hit by any CC immediately in every single fight, it's a better talent in the end because you just have the trade capabilities. I abuse that all the time. Level 16 just makes it so like you can just win every trade. But anyways, we're getting into game number 3. Let's move on. That is the focus now. And Minion Miners is going to be the map pick. They're going to take us to Infernal Shrines. So we'll see. First pick has won all the games so far, so we'll see if that continues to be the trend into game number 3. Just waiting for the ready from everybody here. Yeah, right. You're just constantly going to get that healing as long as you're getting auto attacks out, 100%. Or even the Q. The Q gives you lots of that bonus damage. It's on everything. And that's what that whole synergy about that build that Ryokai put together in the first place, that I believe is really still the strongest one that I've seen yet, and the only one I really like to play, is the spell power from the level 1 talent combined with all of the other talents, all tend to stack together. It makes it really good. In fact, that's why the level 20, I pretty much always go for the Q cooldown reduction. So just waiting for everybody to say ready. In the chat. And here we go. Game number 3, folks. So sticking with the Ragnaros and Lily bands, I believe. See? That Lily band is the one band you can definitely adjust. Don't have to heat. But if they're still feeling like it's the band, then they'll continue with it. No, ETC. Which I think is the appropriate response. ETC has been a strong factor in both of the first 2 games. So removing that option is great. Greymane's going to get banned again. So Anduin was the adjustment last game, is the continued to be the adjustment here. And then, of course, Greymane is going to continue to be the second ban there. I'm not entirely sold on the Greymane bans. Now, if you've got a Cassia player or other things that tend to counter it, it's not that bad. But if Synchrony or Rolf the dog are both very good at the hero, I can see the nervousness. We're going to get Hanzo right off the bat. I mean, I like Hanzo here. I do think that he, with Explosive Arrow, is good on the Shrine. But that's going to give Falstad up, as well as Sylvanas. And I think that means we're going to see the tank swap up again. But Nubrak is available and is going to be the next pickup. Nubrak has fallen off quite a bit. Generally speaking, across the board. In fact, we can pop up the statistics there. Trying to show his fall from grace this season. Popularity is up. It's still high, but not as high as it was. But his win rate is low. It is not as high. It's about almost half of what it used to be. Around 62% last season. This season, it's looking like it's sitting around the 39 to 40, which indicates it still gets value, but it's not. It's definitely a drop off. So I believe a Nubrak is powerful in the hands of the players that know how to use the hero. I think they just realized that ETC has been a huge factor in all the games. Lucio is going to get banned out too as well. So 2 adjustment bans here from Trump. Trying to give themselves the best possible chance here in game number 3. And I like good flex ban. And we're also going to see Chen banned out. And I think that was because Joe was probably what they were looking to take out, but since the Nubrak was what was picked up, they didn't bother. And if you're going to ban the Greymane, but then play the Arthas anyways, seems to be an interesting choice. Karazim going to be the change up from Lucio. And a Malfield. So Stukov not quite doing it for them last time, so it looks like we're just gonna get the trusty Anna instead. We'll see. I like the Malfield pickup on this map and in general. Good Malfield players are a real threat. And we can see that in their statistics. And there's a Lily. So maybe the whole idea behind the Lily bans is double support. Oops. I did that wrong. There we go. And that's it. That's game number 3. This is the last draft we have, guys. Let us know in the chat which way you think this is going to be going, because I don't know. These last 2 games have been fantastic. Kind of snowballing in both directions. Alterac was definitely Trump's playground, but Cursed Hollow seemed to be very much where Minion miners like to be. So Infernal Shrines is the map pick, so first pick has had advantage. First pick in this instance has a more or less standard draft. Malthael and Nubrak is a squishy front line. So we'll have to see. Anyways, to start it off, here we are with the blue side. Minion miners. Wesker on the Karazim, Urdak on Sylvanas, Marshall playing Lily, Sir Makacheese on the Arthas, and Murderin playing the Falstad. On the red side, we have Trump, the real ultimate mosh pit, Dankstrom on the Anubrak, Idioms playing Malthael, Rolf the Dog on the Junkrat again, Synchrony playing Hanzo, and the AFK healer on the Ana. So looks like the opening game handshake is going to go as follows. Everyone misses their skill shots. Oh, there's an auto attack. And a skill shot finally lands. Woo! So it is going to be Stormbow. So we're going to need to see Hanzo play up a bit in this game to get those early stacks. The Stormbow is incredibly strong on this map. It's definitely the one that I pretty much always take. On this map in particular. It's kind of been the go-to for a while. Everyone kind of watches Hasselhoffs play it, I think. And it tends to be kind of what people consider the best of the 3 builds. But I think with Hanzo, he's in a good spot where all 3 of his level 1 talents are completely viable. Depending on composition. Of course it is. So rotation with the Malthael instead of the Junkrat. Junkrat's going to go in the top lane against the Falstad. I don't mind this matchup, although good Falstad players can definitely pressure Junkrat early. Malthael's going to walk up into this and look for some damage, but it doesn't look like it's going so well for the Nubarak. Lots of damage coming through. The fly coming in from Falstad is going to guarantee the kill onto Nubarak, and unfortunately that might be what we're going to see a lot of. And Malthael is not inherently tanky. He is He's like Thrall. He's really good in sustained fights where he can avoid being focus fired. But in situations where he can get single out and bursted, he's not tanky at all. He can't take it. Now, lots of targets, most things die from good CC chains into burst, but you know, still lots of, you know, other targets that are frontliners like Blaze or anything that can take it for longer. Malthael is really good and great at absorbing damage that's ancillary damage, that is not directed bursting. That's why he's gankable in lanes. I changed the category. Silly me not paying attention to all of the things. Doesn't really matter. Everyone knows what we're watching. So, the first objective, top lane, is going to be a Frozen Punisher. And I think the advantage is significantly in the side of Trump here. On the objective itself, they definitely should be ahead. No offlane double soaking happening right now, which is fine. But with Exploding Arrow, which we have, Junkrat and Malthael, it should be a good place. Plus, Malthael can heal off the minions, which is also really nice. But here we go. He has no mana left, so using that E probably a bit too much in my opinion. Angstrom is going to get pressured, though. They are still ahead, though. All they really need to do is tap, although Idioms may have already done so, and him having to back here is actually a problem. We're going to actually see this Shrine flip over in favor of Minion Miners with the fact that Malthael has to back off. And will he be back in time with On the Pale Horse to secure this objective? I don't know. There's only 2 more minions needed. It's a tough one to call here. Lots of pressure coming onto Westguard. They do have to back off. Arthas needs to get 1 more minion. He does, and that is going to be the first objective going to Minion Miners. Trump made a fight for it, but that back really cost them. I'll leave the talents up because 7s have just come in, so everyone can take a look at it, and then I'll knock it back down. We do have Dagger build here from Urdak. Fine. It's been proven to be an effective build. However, for a Frozen Punisher to not even get a front wall, I'd say that's a hell of a defense from Trump. Malthael looking to catch back up on the soak. We do have a bit of an advantage there, though, for Minion Miners. Yeah, Idim's using that E more frequently than I would like. Alrighty, we're going to see this scouted out, but there's really not anyone in a position to do anything about it. Junkrat in the top lane fine, but Malthael clearing up the bottom camp. But now he's in trouble. They cut off his ability to get around. He is going to W over, but that's not going to be enough. But Ana almost keeps him alive. But there's the kill, and there's that gank ability on the Malthael that I was talking about. And with a Sylvanas comp, that's going to allow them to be able to push up this bottom lane. No one really in position to do anything about it as the mid lane is being pushed down, but it is a Nubrak in the mid lane trying to deal with it. Malthael's going to come and clear it out, but the rotation's going to be too slow, and Trump's going to lose bottom fort. So, Minion Miners showing them their stuff. Staying ahead in this game so far. They've started off fantastically. Just about to hit, or they just hit level 10s. This is going to be Hinterland Blast again. But there's less things here that you need to gust, so I'm okay with it. And with Falstad rotating in, that's going to be another fort gone in the mid lane too, where the next objective is, including the well. So that's a good play there for Minion Miners. They are far and away ahead macro-wise in this game right now. They'll steal all the camps on the map. Everything is blue. Ivana's doing her best to see if she can snipe this tower. Might have stayed too long, as there is the Hanzo. The stun doesn't come through. Does land there. He is in trouble. But unfortunately, the initial dive didn't land. Otherwise, it probably was a dead Sylvanas. 10s here for both sides. Pretty much everything standard there. Nano Boost Malthael is going to be pretty good. And it is that Black Harvest build. We're going to see the big engagement coming through here. Hinterland's Blast is going to land on 2 targets. Silence is going to help secure the kill on Idioms. No! That is exactly what we were talking about. There is the Malthael with the Nano Boost. Getting lots of value. Got a good stack on Last Rites. But it's AFK Healer at 50 health that has to walk away here. And despite getting the same amount of kills kind of countering it out, they did take overall more damage. And because of the long tap, they're going to have to run back here. And that's going to give lots of clear time there. Although, unfortunately, Rolf the dog is not hitting any of those minions. He was just hitting the middle. It was bouncing off into space. So 32, that's pretty much all Minion Miners needs. They can easily come in here with a full stack and get the remainders. But they're going to have to back off a little bit and sacrifice a bit of positioning here for Trump. Trump is going to do their best to try to get this back and see if they can defend out the way. There is the mine, the concussion mine that's getting away. But Rolf the dog in big trouble as Lily did land that big attack. Rolf is going to finally go down. Lily did die, though, to get that done. Idiom's not in a good spot. He's going to go down, too, as well. And that is a game. But he does. So they do lose the shrine again. And Sylvanas really looking to secure kills here. Almost goes down herself. The burst damage not coming fully through there. But it was the Mortar Punisher going to Minion Miners again. But they're not wanting to step up. But, I mean, I really like mortars. Like, they do. That should have landed on the fort. But, of course, I think it was trying to hit heroes. When those things hit, they hit for a lot. Anna, oh, barely dodges it. But, again, a decent defense from Trump. But, with the objective, that's going to be all the camps forfeited to Trump, or to Minion Miners again. Is going to be bottom lane. Camps everywhere have to be cleared out. We're going to get the full 5-man rotation, though, because I think Trump is saying we need to get something to happen here. Cocoon's going to go down. They're going to slow down with the water dragon, but that is going to be a kill on Lily. Synchrony does not get over the wall. He does go down, and so the comeback kill is there. Hanzo and Nubrak dying quickly. Ivana's just able to punish Nubrak so hard for walking into any situation. And we can see all of those kills coming through. Malthael goes down again after getting the Black Harvest completed. And what looked like a good initiation, the start, really turned around for them and did not get what we wanted out of that. And that's Sylv damage, really, I think, coming through there. 16s picked up. Map is completely blue. All of these camps just pushing every lane relentlessly. And now Minion Miners in a good position are just going to look for any rotation where they can get another fight prior to 16s. And here's the thing, 16s are not going to be in position for Trump in time. Knowing that, they're going to see if they can siege up a little bit. Going to take the bottom tower. But Trump has a decision to make. Without a keep wall, do you sacrifice your keep for 16s, for a 16 fight? Or do you take the fight down 16s? So 16s are finally in place. And they do find Marshall out. And that is going to be a great way to start this fight. Initiation going to come out from Anubrak, but the Punisher doing exactly its namesake and punishing hard. And that's going to be a kill on both Anubrak and Malthael. They really needed to take that fight farther away from the lane. So despite getting the kill on Lily, which has been happening in a lot of these engagements, the end result is still too many deaths on the side of Trump. Giving Minion Miners what looks like the lead and possibly the game here, as this is a very healthy Arcane Punisher, which does a lot of siege damage. Junkrat doing his best to try to get that Punisher off of the core, but it's just not going to matter. Too much damage coming in here, and I think this is going to be GG. Minion Miners are about to win the game and the series, and that's it. I feel like there was just not enough punishment on the Sylvanas plays. Lots of aggro going onto the Lily, but probably maybe perhaps not the target they should be going for. And a lot of the counter damage coming up from Falstead and Karazim and really Sylvanas herself was enough to just burn down these backliners in every engagement, and that just made things really difficult for them to win. So that's that. That is game number 3. Minion Miners take it. Tight series. In game number 1, it looked like Trump's match to lose, and in the end, it really was. They ended up just dropping too many. Well, let's swap this up. And see if we can get one in for interview.
I think we got one more coming.
Alrighty, how's it going?
It's going. It is going. My voice has been better for sure, but the win was nice.
Hello, hello.
Well, congratulations, Minion Miners. That's the victory you guys were looking for and the one you needed to be able to climb on top of the standings. How are you feeling after that match?
Ooh, #1 power rankings. Let's
Ugh.
go.
That was pretty scary start.
Yeah.
Kind of got hit pretty hard at the beginning. So yeah, I'm glad we could recover.
It seemed like in game number 1, you guys were going for the Abathur comp, but you really couldn't make the aggression like you wanted to really happen. And the double global macro kind of style, I think, just was able to take you by surprise, and they were able to snowball it off of kind of that failed gank attempt on the Dahaka. Do you feel like that was the
Yes.
turning point in the matchup where you guys just weren't able to mount a defense after that, and that's kind of where it snowballed against you?
There's a lot of that. We also were really lacking wave clear with our comp. I felt like we were just kind of getting gradually suffocated more and more as that game went on. The Cassia was nice, but I just couldn't safely get in there and really do anything. And they just waves and waves crashing against gates. We just got behind.
We had a hard time engaging too in those fights. I think we kind of missed out on that draft. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely went in their favor on that game, but it definitely was one of those things where it's like draft versus draft matchup in some cases. Even if you play your absolute best, finding the path to victory there was unlikely. So getting into game number 2, we got another similar map, and this time it was a choice from them. Were you guys nervous at all that it's like, well, Cursed Hollow is kind of just a similar version in macro style to Alterac Pass, or did you guys feel like because you were able to identify where you were weak in game number 1, you just came in with a better draft, and that kind of helped to lead you guys to the victory there?
First of all, shout outs to that Anduin. My gosh, that was
Yeah,
some
yeah.
seriously sick play. We
Very, very
couldn't
well
let that
played.
through for the rest of the series. Like he's by far the best probably in the division that we've seen so far play Anduin. Normally we're not even scared of it. We'll let it in. But this has been the one scenario where we actually had to ban it out because it was played so well. Um, and I think with that gone, a lot of their wombo and their setup was kind of gone. So we were able to draft a comp that we were more used to, and it was a lot more comfort picks that got let through for us for sure.
Yeah, typically we try to play the macro game a lot more. So we got back to that a little bit in the second game. Yeah, it felt better. It felt like we were more control from the kind of the get go on that one.
So we have a lot of opinions in chat, and and not much different for myself on the Falstad with the Hinterlands Blast. At least for game number 2, I can understand it. Game number 3, no problem. But game number 2, where boss control can be such a thing, and there's lots of situations where we feel like Gus probably would have secured that boss instead of leashing it 3 times in the bot lane there.
We'll give you a little insight. We have banned him from using Gust because his hinterlands are so good. So
Got it.
that's just a little scouting tidbit for
He
everybody else
actually
out there.
he talked about taking it that game, and we were screaming at him, "Don't you do it!" Like he's too good on it, man.
We
Like,
would have
even
thrown him out of the
going
game and played
off
with a
the
bot
killer
if he went
too. Yeah,
Gust.
he's off the team if he takes that the other role. It's not okay.
So it's
Yep,
not
he got
necessarily
it.
that you disagree that Gus wouldn't work there probably better. It just with the specific player playing the hero, you felt like in the end the value was better. And that's an interesting call and something that people should keep in mind, that sometimes even if it's not the meta pick, some players play certain styles better than they do others, and that sometimes can make the difference.
Yeah, we're really not known for going meta picks, so we're
Yeah,
okay
that's-
trolling the chat a little bit. We're fine with that.
Yeah, yep. Not the meta team. That's not us.
My explanation for it was you took Lunara without like choking Pollen or anything with burst damage, so having the Hinterlands Blast was really the only way to finish off targets, like hard finish off targets. So I was okay with it overall, but I still feel like Gust, when played really well in those situations, can be very powerful. But it doesn't matter. In the end, you guys pulled out the victory, and that's all that really matters. You grabbed ETC game number 2 and actually forced it to be banned game number 3, even though they had first pick on it. Is it just because both teams aren't big on the first pick tank priority, or what do you think was the reason? We saw why ETC was banned because it was so strong in game number 1, and why it was picked by you guys. But why do you think they banned it in game number 3?
It actually kind of caught us by surprise. We thought they were going to take something else for sure. we weren't looking to even really play around it. We were more worried. They've got a pretty good Sylvanas player, and especially on that particular map, Sylvanas can snowball that really, really well. So we went in expecting them to take Sylvanas, and when they didn't, we quickly locked that up first pick on our end because we just, for the same reason, we were hoping to snowball pretty hard with that pick.
Murder and chiming in saying that killing people is just as good as getting gusts and securing kills. But
I agree.
I'm gonna counter and say that Bosch was leased 3 times. 3 times.
That was-
Well, okay, so I'll back up him on this too. Cursed Hollow especially is very choke point. It's a very choke point
Yeah.
map, so
Yeah,
the enemy
yeah.
tends to line up, and you can get 3, 4, 5 people with one hinterland. So the value on that map specifically is higher than other maps, I think.
Okay.
One thing I will say is I was having some PTSD from our HOTUS throw. I did not want to throw on this map.
So you
Because,
guys
we were
you
not-
guys were okay with leashing the boss as long as he didn't die there, which makes sense. I get it.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
learned when to walk away. We got good at that. This is HOTUS. I think we dove in on the boss pit twice, and we got punished the second time.
So game 2 felt kind of back and forth, though you guys controlled the macro again pretty well in that game. But game number 3 was definitely in your favor. I was a little nervous when you guys didn't even push the top objective, but the fact that you're able to get those 2 forts on the bot mid rotation after that was pretty strong. So just good, solid Sylvanas leverage play on that map really put it on Trump to make something happen. And were you guys concerned at all about the nano Malthael, or did you just feel like you had the tools you needed to deal with with that front line, which in my opinion was pretty paper thin?
So I think they had the right comp, but I don't think their execution was perfect. So they kept cocooning the Arthas, which was me that game. I think if they would have used the Malthael to kill me and maybe cocoon one of our damage dealers, fights could have been a little different. Because I got pulled out of cocoon like instantly, because I had both my damage up. All I had to do was call for it. So I think the correct play there would have been probably to have the Malthael try to kill me as quick as possible, but that might just be me.
We tend to play pretty spread out as a team. So Malthael, we've played a handful of Malthaels this season, and they haven't gotten a lot of value on us. Yeah, I don't know. It could have just been the way the game went, but yeah, Malthael excels when teams group, and we try really hard not to do that. So
Organized chaos.
Absolutely. Well, going forward, who do you guys have left to play?
we have Beast Coast on Saturday, I believe. Saturday
Yeah.
night. So
Yep.
that'll be one to watch.
So
It'll be fun.
Yeah, so I mean, big victory over Trump here, and I think between those 2 teams, they haven't played yet, have they?
Beast Coast and Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't really
I
matter.
don't know.
All right, you feeling like it's gonna be a nail biter one like we saw today, or do you guys think you have that one in the bag? Time to throw shade, of course, if you feel like it.
It'll be close. Yeah, Beast Coast will be close. They're a good team. So we're looking
These
forward to it.
these top 5 teams are definitely something to not take lightly. Like we walk into every match, and we look at everything they played, everything they're gonna play. So we're taking each of these very, very seriously. So regardless of where we stand and what wins we come off of, we go into the next game just ground zero.
Well, congratulations on the victory. Go ahead with the shoutouts.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll
go
shout out Trump just for their play. I mean, they're a solid team, scouted really well, drafted really well. So fun. It's a fun series. I'm looking forward to the playoffs with them. My teammates, Erdak for stepping in and killing it, and Hemi Bo for everything that he does, the scouting and major decisions he helps us with. And yeah, it's an awesome job.
Yeah, a lot of the same. The team's been huge. The scouting's been huge. This has been a really fun group to play with for sure.
Looks like it. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. I really do appreciate it. And congratulations on the win. Hopefully we can catch the next match that you're up against. I don't know if I'll be available to pick that up. You said it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Saturday.
It's not
Saturday night.
on the thing, so you guys need to get that on the
Not yet.
schedule ASAP. So those of us that are looking to
Fire.
cast can do so.
Thank you, sir, for the cast. Awesome to have a cast.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. No problems, guys. Thanks a lot for everything. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Here.
That's going to be it for me tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Minion Miners versus Trump. Very, very close series. Probably catch us again on Saturday for that, because I definitely might see if I can snag that nice and early here in the week for the Saturday. So it'll be fun. I'll be looking forward to that. Well, get it scheduled, Monkus. Jeez. Anyways, everybody, if you have not already, do please hit the follow button. And if you have your Twitch Prime still available, or you're feeling generous, subs, biddies, and of course the tip jar at the bottom is very much appreciated to support the stream and myself here and my family, and all that kind of stuff. Definitely appreciated, but not by any means required. I'll be around again for some more streaming either later tonight or tomorrow. We'll just kind of have to see how things are going. I'm giving Classic WoW a bit of a run, so if you want to watch me kind of limp my way through that, it'll be all right. Not entirely sold on the game. If not, I'll just be back to playing some more Heroes of the Storm. Anyways, casts again, potentially tomorrow, probably Thursday and Friday as well. So thanks everybody for showing up. I'll see if I can find somebody to host, and that'll be it for me. Good night.